Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushenu b'mitzvotav b'tzvaveinu la'asok b'divrei Torah. Blessed art thou, Lord our God, King of the universe, who has sanctified us with thy commandments, commanded us to engross ourselves in the words of the Torah. Shabbat Shalom, and it's a very special day today. This Torah portion means after the death. It's Acharei Mot. I think I said that right. Acharei Mot. After the death, which was after the death of Aaron's sons. God went and spoke to Moses to speak to Aaron. Now, don't quote me on it, of course. Definitely read it for yourself. But I mean, in that this Torah portion is Yom Kippur. It's the face-to-face Torah portion. And I'm no teacher, obviously, of the Torah. I'm a just somebody that likes to read and study and hear the Word of God and share with you what I found interesting. It's kind of like my own audio notes, my own audio commentary. What really stood out to me here in this Torah portion was two things. Well, actually, three things. And these things are just very blunt, honest truths. The first one is that on this day we do actually come face to face with God. And every single one of us is weighed in the balances and found wanting. Every single one of us is a sinner. And God gives all of these instructions to protect us, to help us not make the mistake of thinking that entering into the presence of God is something that we can just do, that it's easily obtained, that holiness is something that we can just have. No, holiness is precious. Holiness came at the expense of another life. Holiness came at the expense of the blood of the Son of God, Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus Christ. The reason why the veil was rent, so that we can come to His presence, is because the Torah has been written on the heart of every single person. And it's been written in the heart of every person because of Yeshua. Another thing that stood out to me is the fact that we have to be told. In this Torah portion, we're actually told to set ourselves apart. Don't be like the places where you've been or the places where you're going. When you're a child of Israel, you can't sleep with your mother. You can't sleep with your daughter-in-law. You can't sleep and have sex with your daughter. When you're children of Israel, you can't go. When you're grafted in, when you're saved through Yeshua, you can't have sex with animals. All you need to do is turn on your television today, and you'll find that you turn on some pornography or whatever, you'll find that nothing today's generation is too taboo. Nothing. But with God and God's people, there are things that we can't do. There's sin. And so this is a blunt, honest truth, because this is the truth. And we have to accept that truth, and we have to be blunt, and we have to accept the fact that we are such a kind of people that without Jesus dying for us and the grace of God through His Son, we cannot enter into His presence. And without His Son, it would only be once a year. And without His Son, we would be covered behind a veil, not able to enter into His love, not able to enter into His forgiveness, not able to even say to Him, I am a sinner and I am sorry. God wouldn't allow it. We would die on the spot. Do you know why? Because God is holy. And He wants us to be holy. And so we can't do everything that the other nations do. And it's a good reminder for us to remember that we're no different. The Apostle Paul was called to all the Gentiles, all the Goyim, all the people of the world. And he says, by the grace of God, there goeth me. There's a game I like to play. Now that I've said that, now that the Bible has already uncovered everything, nothing now is too taboo. There's a game I like to play all the time. It's called Payday 2. And it's a terrible game. It's a game where somebody goes and you go and you play online with a bunch of people and you put on a mask. And once you put on the mask, it says ready up or ready to go. And you pick everything you want. What do you want to rob this store? Do you want to rob a bank? What do you want to do? And the Payday 2 is where you go and you rob banks. But here's the reason why I like the game. Okay? I like the game because you sit down and you play this game with these people that are considered criminals, considered robbers. And I like to mix the dynamics up a lot. Like a lot. To watch how these guys that are supposed to be these criminals do all kinds of things. Like they help each other up. They defend each other's life. They make decisions so that they can all get out of the building alive, whether they get the money or they don't get the money. Whether they you know, and that's the thing. The whole point of that though is when we come to God, we take the mask off. We have to take the mask off when we come to God. We can't be fake, we can't be phony. It's time to tell the truth, it's time to be real. The masks come off when we come to God, when we come before the Lord. The beauty about Yeshua is that he loved us so much that his love was veiled behind a veil. And now that Jesus died for us, because of him, the veil was rent. Now all of us can come into the presence of God. There's another thing in this Torah portion that really stood out to me. It was some notes I got here off of TorahPortions.com, and it says, the Day of Atonement is a day for coming face to face with God in a spiritual sense. We are to regard ourselves on that day as we are standing in the Holy of Holies, face to face with the Almighty. One day, on the day of Yom Kippur, the high priest came face to face with God. That is why he first brought incense into the Holy of Holies. The purpose of the incense was to create a cloud of smoke so he would not see the Ark of the Covenant and die. In this world, even our closest encounters with God are veiled and obscured. Paul says that now we see in a mirror dimly. 1 Corinthians 13:12. He was referring to a brass mirror. Though it provided a reflection, it was not a sharp, clear reflection like modern mirrors provided. But it was brass. Shabbat Shalom. Just know that because of Yeshua, you can take off the mask in your life. You can cast away all your fears and all your doubts, and you can humbly come to the presence of God. And you can come into his presence. If there's any fear, if there's any doubt, if there's anything that's lacking in faith, then right now, it says the Torah is written on the hearts of every single person. Say to him, I'm sorry, Lord, and ask him for forgiveness. Right now where you are, he will forgive you. He'll come and meet you face to face. Shabbat Shalom.